My fiancé wanted an open relationship. I said yes. Biggest mistake of my life. You ever agree to something so stupid that even as the words are coming out of your mouth, some deeper part of you is whispering, you just signed your own death sentence? That was me, 6 months ago. My fiancée, let's call her Alyssa, the woman I had dated for 3 years and was supposed to marry this fall, sat me down one night and said, I love you, but I feel like I haven't explored enough. I think we should try opening the relationship. I should have walked away. Instead, I said the dumbest words of my life. If that's what you need. Let's try it. And that one sentence detonated everything. She thrived. I decayed. Within 2 weeks, Alyssa had already lined up her experiences. At first, she claimed it was just dates. Then came the sleepovers. The weekend trips. The lingerie that wasn't for me. She hooked up with her coworker. Then her gym trainer. Then a guy she met at a concert. And then my friend, let's call him Jason. That one cracked me open. Jason and I had been close since undergrad. We'd been in each other's weddings, or were supposed to be. One night, after too much tequila, he let it slip that they'd been vibing for a while. That it just happened. He apologized. Then ghosted me. Turns out, loyalty expires quickly when sex is involved. Meanwhile, I tried to play along. I downloaded dating apps. Went on awkward coffee dates. But I wasn't there. I was spiraling, choking on jealousy while pretending to be evolved. My confidence tanked. My sleep vanished. I stopped laughing. My coworkers noticed. My family stopped asking about the wedding. My life was disintegrating, and Alyssa was glowing. Until I met, let's call her Erin. She wasn't flashy. She was real. We met at a bookstore. Cliché? Maybe, but after months of empty swipes and performative flings, meeting someone who wasn't trying to impress, just connect, was like oxygen. She asked about my life. Not my job. Not my weekend plans. My life. She listened. We talked about fears. Grief. Books. What it meant to love without ownership. She had a calmness in her I hadn't felt in years. Our first date lasted 6 hours. Our second one, even longer. We made out in her car like teenagers. And that night, when we finally hooked up, it wasn't casual. It wasn't experimental. It was intimate. Afterwards, I stared at the ceiling and felt something I hadn't felt in months. Hope. Quick pause. If you've ever been blindsided by someone you trusted, or found clarity in the wreckage, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories like this. Sometimes the internet is the only place that gets it. That hope? Alyssa smelled it on me like blood in the water. Suddenly, she was around more. Cooking breakfast. Wearing old perfume. Laughing at my jokes again. She started checking in more. Asked how work was. If I was free this weekend. If we could talk. I told her I was seeing someone. She froze. Then smiled. That's great. I'm really happy for you. She wasn't. A week later, Erin got a text from an unknown number. Just a heads up. The guy you're seeing is still engaged. Thought you should know before you get in too deep. No name. No context. Just poison. Erin showed me. She didn't accuse. Just said, I think someone's trying to sabotage us. I knew who it was immediately. I confronted Alyssa. She denied it with just enough indignation to seem believable. I would never do that, seriously? But her voice was tight. Her jaw was clenched. That night, I checked her phone. She deleted her outgoing messages. But forgot the screenshots she took of Erin's Instagram. Caption, this her? Wow. Basic. I didn't say anything, just stared at her and said, don't ever lie to me again. She didn't respond. Just walked to the bathroom and slammed the door. Erin didn't run. She stayed. She listened when I admitted everything, the open relationship, the breakdown, the betrayal. She told me something I'll never forget. It's okay if you're still healing. I'm not here to replace anything. Just to be real with you. We spent weekends hiking. Cooked together. Had deep, sleepy conversations in bed about everything from grief to childhood dreams. We danced in her living room once, barefoot, to a record playing a song neither of us knew. And I remember thinking, this feels like a life. Not a performance. Before Erin, there was hell. It wasn't just the hookups. It was the way they happened. Alyssa didn't even try to hide them. Guys came over like it was a college dorm. Some she claimed were just hanging out. Others stayed overnight. A few didn't even bother pretending to be subtle. One walked in shirtless while I was eating breakfast. Nodded at me like I was the roommate. Another one, let's call him Dylan, some 6 feet 3 inches CrossFit type, left his sneakers by the front door and his cologne in the bathroom. Alyssa giggled and said, "Oh sorry, I forgot he left that." Like I was the cleaning lady, not the man she was supposed to marry. I'll never forget the night she brought home a guy, let's call him Marcus. He swaggered in around 11 p.m. while I was on the couch trying to watch something, anything, to distract myself. Alyssa kissed him right in front of me. Full lips. Full body press. Didn't even look at me. They went into the bedroom. Our bedroom. I sat there. For hours. TV still playing. The sounds from the next room were impossible to ignore. I cried that night. Not sobbing. Not loud. Just quiet, painful tears. The kind where your body's not even sure what to do with the grief, so it just leaks. She emerged the next morning in his shirt. Didn't say a word. I felt like a ghost in my own home. Not a man. Not a fiancé. Just a piece of furniture. One of her flings, let's call him Trey, actually joked to her in front of me, "You sure you don't want to trade up?" She laughed. And I died a little inside. That was my rock bottom. My world wasn't just falling apart. It had already crumbled. I was sitting in the rubble, pretending the dust in my lungs wasn't killing me. I stopped talking to my friends. Stopped answering calls from my mom. I told everyone we were trying something new. They nodded like they understood, but I could see the concern in their eyes. No one says it, but when you're a man watching your woman bring home other guys, it breaks something inside you. You question your value. Your manhood. Your worth. And the worst part? You blame yourself. You tell yourself you said yes. You agreed to this. You allowed it. So you sit in silence while the woman you were supposed to marry laughs in your face without even realizing it. Or maybe she did realize it. Maybe that's what hurt the most. But all that pain, every last ounce of it, is why I knew Erin was different. She never once made me feel small. Never made me beg for attention. She saw the ruins and didn't flinch. She stayed. And because of that, I began to rise again. But she wasn't naive. She saw Alyssa's claws trying to dig back in. She doesn't want you, Erin told me one night, she just doesn't want you happy without her. She was right. Alyssa started sleeping with fewer men. Started sleeping with me again. And part of me, the insecure, trauma-dazed part, let it happen. She texted less. Stayed home more. Talked about the wedding again. But I didn't love her anymore. I loved Erin. So one morning, I sat across from Alyssa and said, calmly, "I'm ending this. I'm choosing her." She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just looked defeated. Her parents were livid. They called me selfish. Said I was abandoning her. I reminded them she slept with 8 men, including my friend, while we were engaged. I showed them the messages. The screenshots. Her texts to other guys while trying to plan a wedding. Her dad scolded her. Her mom looked like someone had pulled the rug out from under her reality. Alyssa still texts me sometimes. Still says we could work through it. Still believes, deep down, I was her fallback. But I'm done being a backup plan. Erin and I are taking it slow. No ring. No pressure. Just peace. She makes coffee every morning and always leaves a little note. She's got this laugh that makes me forget every bad day I've had. She doesn't ask for fireworks. She's just consistent. Honest. Present. And after everything I've been through, that's more valuable than any grand gesture. If you're still here, thanks for listening. If you've ever been someone's second choice, someone's safety net, don't wait for them to see your worth. Find someone who doesn't need convincing. And if you like this story, hit like and subscribe. Because sometimes healing starts when you finally say, no more. And mean it.